Welcome to Beyond the Surface with Gregory Turner, a talk show where conversations aren't just discussions, they're journeys to understanding and healing. Here, we dive into the deep, often unspoken struggles that shape our lives, uncovering the moments that paralyze, and creating plans that pave the way toward freedom, empowerment, understanding, and victory. It's already within us. Join Gregory Turner as we go beyond the surface.
Good evening, everyone. I am your host, Gregory Turner. I know it's been a while since I've been on, but tonight I wanted to come on and talk about something that's dear to my heart, something that I've been talking to groups of children at schools and different places, and also talking with officials that are in position to make a difference for our kids and how our kids are interacting online. And tonight's topic is online gaming, social media, and youth online safety. This is so important because I think that a lot of adults really just don't understand how important this is and how dangerous it can be for our children and for these kids in high school, middle school, just children in general. And when we have these kids that are online playing games, having fun on social media, just even at school, these are some very dangerous times. And parents, please bear with me. I'm not here to scare you. I'm just here to so that we all can have a better understanding of the online world our children live in every day. This is not going to go away. The online thing is not going to go away, but this is something that these kids are into right now. And tonight, what I want to touch on, I want to touch on a couple things. I want to touch on how these platforms actually work. What risk exists? There are some risks. And what warning signs parents should know. And the final thing is what simple steps families can take to improve safety. I have a ton of notes. I've been going through doing as much research as I can because there's so many children all around the world that are dealing with online games, and they're dealing with predators, and they're just dealing with bad people. And I think a lot of times parents think that because their son or daughter, they're in their room, that they're safe. That's not always the case. Just recently here in Tallahassee, Florida, uh, a teenage girl, 14, met a gentleman online. He was 23, but he told her he was 14, 15. And that situation got out of hand. She was harmed. They met up and some things happened. But she did have the courage to tell her parents, and that person is incarcerated. But I think sometimes, as parents, sometimes we miss the point. We miss the real point, and I think that big thing with this online is communication. Communication. We have to get back to communicating with the kids on what they're doing and monitoring their cell phones and devices and everything that these kids are on. So let's get into the understanding the digital world that our kids live in. Children, they interact online in so many different ways. Be it video games, live streaming, social media, voice chat, so many different things. And there's also the most common places for a lot of our kids is Roblox, these games. Now, I'm not accusing any of these platforms of anything. This is where a lot of these kids are. Fortnite, Snapchat, Instagram, the list goes on and on. And the sad thing is a lot of these kids, these platforms allow these kids to talk privately with strangers. And even when the game looks child friendly, a lot of times they're not. And you'll say, well, my child is just playing a game. But in reality, a lot of these kids are chatting, voice talking, messaging, and they're also being invited to other platforms. And the thing is, a lot of these predators and a lot of these people that mean harm or bad or ill will to these kids, a lot of them they're very smart in how they deal with these kids. The first thing that they'll do is they'll build trust. They'll build trust with the kids, and then they start with the grooming. It's the friendly contact that gets these kids. And one of the kids that I mentor, he's just in the second grade, and he has a Roblox account. Well, his grandmother has a Roblox account. He's too young to have one, but he uses hers. And again, I said his grandmother. She doesn't know anything about it. She just thinks it's just a game that this kid is on. And the sad thing is, she knows absolutely nothing about what he's doing, who's on there. And I'm not trying to shame her, but these are just the realistic conversations that we have to have. And that's something that I do when I speak with the parents. I don't try to make them feel bad, but I just try my best to inform them of some of the things that are happening. And the goal is early detection so that we can head this off before damage and harm is done. Um, the thing is, a lot of these parents, they're saying, this kid is really good at his games, and this is something that also the predators or the people that are watching them, those are some of the kind of things that they'll say. You're really good at this. Do you want to play again tomorrow? And again, they're trying to build this friendship. And then once they'll start asking personal questions about what school they attend, what are their hobbies, and they'll compliment them, and then sometimes they'll even send gifts and games. So they'll do that kind of thing, and then um, as they move on and they feel that they've gained this kid's trust, they'll try to get those kids to move on to one of the private platforms like Discord, Snapchat, Instagram, and then the private chat apps like WhatsApp. This is just something that is part of their strategy, and they do have one. And this is where one of the stages we talk about and I've learned about is the manipulation stage. And at this stage, they'll start requesting photos. They'll start sending inappropriate material. They'll make threats, attempting to blackmail. And once they get those pictures, and it can this stuff, the process can take days, weeks, or months. And whenever they feel comfortable that they have this kid in a position where they want them, then that's what they're going to do. They'll just drag it out. And what a lot of parents don't realize, and this is very important, is that, and I think this is sometimes, I think some of the parents, they miss this. These gaming systems, they allow voice chat. And that is children may talk live with strangers. And many of these games have private servers. And when this happens, the conversation, they can happen where parents never see them. And this is where things start getting dicey. This is where it's starting to look bad at this point. And the kids, they'll often move their conversations off of the game. And that's exactly what the manipulator or this predator, that's what they want. They want them, to switch over to a message app. And the sad thing about this is a lot of these predators, they pretend to be kids. And it's common for the adults to pretend to be 13, another gamer, a girl, a boy their own age. And, The key is they want this person to be comfortable with them. And a couple of the signs that I think as a parent that you need to watch out for is your child suddenly becomes secretive with the device or devices. They may have a cell phone, they may have an iPad or just a laptop or whatever device they have to connect to the internet. Um, Whenever you walk by, you see them, they'll close their screens. They start receiving gifts and credits from strangers. They're talking about meeting new people. You start hearing these new names come up on, they're talking about online when they're talking with their friends. So it's so important that we stay engaged and find out what these kids are doing online. And then you start seeing them use multiple messaging apps. They become anxious or upset when you ask about online activity. When you start asking them about what they're doing online and they start getting upset with you, that's a sign. That's a sign. Start paying attention. And, when this kind of stuff happens, it doesn't mean all the time now that they're doing something bad. I think this is the part where you just start having sometimes having these conversations or somewhat of uncomfortable conversations. So it's very important that we do that. And as parents, what we do all want to trust that our kids are doing the right thing. But it's the predators and the other people that we have to really worry about. And the trust with parents. And, we have to regularly talk to the kids about what they're doing online and asking who they're playing with. What's their names? What are these people that they're playing with? And if something is said that's uncomfortable, with this conversation and communication that you have with your child, make sure that you let them know to let you know whenever they're uncomfortable, they're having any interactions, to let you know immediately. Um, and a child may say something, he may come to you or she may come to you and say, someone online made me feel uncomfortable, you know, and you want them to be able to tell you that without them feeling like they're getting into any type of trouble. There's also some safety tips that all families can take as well. Um, let's look at the device location. What I mean by that is keep the gaming system in a shared family area with, as much as possible. Take a look at the privacy settings. Review privacy settings on games, apps, consoles, phones. Pay attention to all those things and look at their friend list. Encourage the kids to only communicate with people that they know in real life. Again, only people that they know in real life. And another thing, parents, that we should know is what games are your kids playing or your child is playing? What apps do they have installed on the system? Did they install something new? And find out who they interact with. And this is so important. I know the kids may think, well, mom, dad, this is my time. That no, it's not. This is too costly. The mistakes, we just don't want that. So we want you to check in with them regularly. Just on a daily basis, whenever you see them playing again, just ask them, who do they play with today. And as time goes, you start gaining their trust and they gain your trust. And it's almost like you're encouraging a partnership with them and you're getting a little bit more into what they're doing. You're coming into their world now. And now they see, okay, mom and dad, they're not that bad with me playing the games. They just want the best for me. They're just really looking out for my protection. And you don't have to understand every part of the technology of this game, or what matters the most is awareness, communication, and involvement. The kids benefit the most when parents stay engaged in their digital lives. It's so important. And it's without saying how important this is. We're losing kids all the time. And I was talking with a group of parents today. I told the parents that, hey, look, when kids are on these games, and I'm just going to say one game, Roblox, there's over 70 million gamers on there any given day. That's a lot of people. And there's also a lot of bad people on there looking to cause harm, to wreak havoc, and to hurt these children. That's why it's so important that you stay involved, that you talk with these kids to find out what they're doing and where they're playing on games. And I would also say, too, check their devices. I know it may be uncomfortable, but I'd rather it be uncomfortable before harm than for you to find out once the harm has already happened or done. That damage, it is hard to fix that. So to be on the safe side, look into the phone, ask them for the device, ask them to unlock the device. And if they give you pushback, it may be something, it may not be as bad as you think. But then again, you can't take that chance of not knowing. And that's why we always say it's better to know than not know. Talk with your kids. Sometimes you may find some inappropriate things on there. And this is the time to address that. And hopefully, when you start having these conversations, that you're on the front end of it instead of being on the back end, where you find pictures or you see things on there that's very hurtful, and that these kids are going through some real bad issues. And I mentioned earlier how some of the adults or predators will ask these kids to take pictures of themselves. They will also ask them to take pictures of their siblings. And a lot of times, what these predators or these online people will do, they will turn these photos into sexual videos. Now, your child may be in middle school, your child may be in high school, or your child may be in elementary school. And these people will show them parts of that video so they can exploit them. They can blackmail them. And they will tell them that they will put the video online so their friends can see it, to shame and embarrass. And then maybe, the parent, they'll say that they'll send it to the parent. Well, when the kid sees this, of course, they don't want that out there. And now the predator, they have your child or your teen or whatever, they have them right where they want them. And when they're in this stage of fear, that's when the exploitation, that's when it starts. That's when they start exploiting them. And what they'll ask them, some may ask them, well, go look in your mom's or father's wallet or purse. Take a picture of their credit card, front and back. They're blackmailing them. And God forbid if it's someone that they live in an area that's close by, these people may visit or have your child uh, skip school to go be with them and perform acts that God knows, um, whatever it is that they want from this kid, and your kid will be in a bad position. And sometimes parents, when they find out it's really late, the damage has already been done, and it's right up under their roof, but they don't know it. We've also seen, and I've had conversations with parents that didn't know that this stuff was happening in their home. Some of these people were so bold that they were coming in the home. They were some coming in through the bedroom window, some coming in during the day when the parents are at work. And because the parents frequently don't visit the room, these people are in the room with your child. and they are there all night. They spend the night, and they don't leave until the parents leave. And this happened with a couple. This happened with the family for months. Parents didn't have a clue, and as the parents, once they found out the shame and harm and hurt that they experienced, it almost split the family. Uh, Counseling, it's a bad thing, and that's why I am very passionate about us watching over these kids with these cell phones. And some of these kids, believe it or not, they are addicted to this stuff. But I will say this: a lot of the kids that I've met, they are only just into these games, and that's all they want to do. And a lot of them, I would say, out of if I talk to five kids, three of the five will tell me someone said something inappropriate to them. It happens just that much, and um, it's so important again for us to have this communication and this dialogue with them instead of just knowing that they're in a room and thinking that they're safe. This digital world, it doesn't work that way. And I understand that a lot of parents work two, three jobs or whatever. They're not home and they're trying to make ends meet. Please find some time to check the devices, to talk with them, to find out what they're doing and who they're talking with, or if there's someone new. Just pay attention to the people. Just pay attention when they're playing these games. And you'll see a lot of times it may not be nothing, but then a lot of times it is something. And we don't want those kids to be harmed. We don't want the families to have to go through that. So the early detection is so important, and that comes from communication and working with the kids. Another part is, where are these kids spending so much of their time? Is it gaming, social media, messaging platforms? Those are the types of things that you need to ask them about. And one thing, or a couple things, the parents I think don't realize is these private servers. So a lot of these people with these private servers, they're not in the United States, and they can cause a lot of harm uh, by not even being here. It may not be a sexual thing. It just may be where they can exploit them. They can get them to do things like I said about the credit card, taking money out of account. You start missing things, and some of these things, I said, that's not sexual. They may be teaching them or having them go out and do bad things to hurt other people. Some of these kids that are down or low self-esteem, that are going through something, a lot of these predators, they will groom them. They will manipulate them. And what I mean by that is, if they see that vulnerability in that child like that, they will exploit that. They will tell that kid, well, your parents, they don't understand you. Now that trust thing is coming in. Now trafficking can happen. That kid will leave, especially if they're ninth, 10th in high school. Some of these kids will leave, and we see again, and some you may not. So it's so important that the communication is always, that line of communication is available and is open. And if you see something, say something. Screenshot a lot of the chats when you have the time. If you see something going wrong, and I would say, I don't think you have to monitor or surveillance the phones daily. I think you gradually go into that. And as parents, you know your kid. You know if something is wrong when you start talking with them. That's going to be the human judgment part. Instead of you having some type of app that monitors or surveillance these kids, because sometimes you're going to get a lot of false positives with that. And a lot of times, what you think is legal evidence is not legal evidence. That's why a lot of these predators, they know what to do. They know how to get around certain things. That's why it's so important that you take the time out of your life and your schedule to find out what they're doing, who they're talking to. It's so important. And just in that communication, you start gaining trust, and that kid will feel like I can talk to my parents. This is something that I've experienced. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just on here having a good time with my friends. I'm not looking for anything crazy. I don't like all of this other stuff. So, on these predators will make these kids feel like they're wrong, like they've done something wrong, like they're about to be in trouble. So, and they'll make these kids feel embarrassed by some of the things that they've said or they shared, that they discussed. And once you have them in that manipulation, they become silent. And the key is early awareness, and parent involvement is so critical. And I want to close with the saying, the internet is not going away. These games, the social media, all of this, that stuff is not going away. But I think it's so important, and I keep saying this, but it's important for parents to stay engaged. Already it makes a huge difference. So please continue to do that. And I want to throw these statistics out there um, so that everybody can understand how serious this thing is. In the U.S. and global data, over 36 million reports of online child exploitation were made in a single year. 36 million. And the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center said that those numbers are increasing every year. The Thorn Research, I don't know if you know about them, 1 in 3 youth report being contacted by someone they didn't know. The National Crime Agency in the UK, thousands of predators operate online, gaming, and social platforms targeting minors. And some of the challenges that law enforcement are faced with is the evidence disappears quickly. If you don't know what you're doing, you'll lose it. Conversations, they move across different platforms. These are some of the issues that law enforcement, this is their reality, and these are some of the challenges that they have. The predators operate anonymously. Predators may be in different countries. So it's really tough. And I know parents, you may have questions. Uh, and I'll try to go through some that I can remember, some of the parents asking. One of them, parents was just so afraid. She said, "Should I ban my child from gaming?" No, you don't have to ban them from gaming. I think the key is awareness, communication, and supervision, not eliminating technology. That's that's not it. And another question is, how do predators find children online? Well, most of the predators they enter spaces where kids naturally gather. Remember, I said Roblox, games, social platforms, and chat communities. There, so many children are there. So these predators, they know exactly where to go for these kids. And another question is, how can I monitor everything my child does? You don't need to monitor everything that they do. What matters most is understanding the platforms, maintaining open communication, and staying engaged in the child's online life. You have to enter into their world. And when you do that, that kid will open up and you'll be able to see things a whole lot more clearly, and you'll be equipped with realizing harm before it happens. And tonight I think we've gone over some stuff, man. But I want to. The most important and the most powerful thing I think that I can say tonight in this small session is the greatest protection children have online is not technology. It is informed and engaged parents. Communication. Come into their world, see what they're doing, and pay close attention to them. And they know that you're invested in them. They're your parents and they're your children. And it's just something that you have to do. Sometimes you have to step on their toes for their protection because a lot of this stuff they don't know. They don't know that how mean this world could be. And again, this session is not to shame or um, make anyone afraid. It's just to inform you. It's just to let you know that the digital world is real and some bad things happen in the digital world. So, but thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. And if there's anything that I can do for you, please reach out to me, gregtu@comcast.net. I'm always available. This is a passion of mine. I met with some leaders this week and trying to move forward with helping and get this information out to more people, more parents, making sure that the kids are aware of the protection that they have, that they don't have to deal with these predators and deal with these people that they don't know, and also the institutions and the schools, because I know that they have blockers on some of the things at the school. Some of the stuff is not supposed to get through, but a lot of these people are really crafty. They know what they're doing. And a lot of these kids and a lot of the parents are saying, hey, I know my kid is not supposed to be on YouTube while he's in school on a school device. It's still happening. So pay attention, ask questions, be a part of their world, and your kid will open up, I think. Thank you so much for joining me. I've enjoyed coming on, speaking with you. And until next time, good night.
Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Surface with Gregory Turner, where healing begins and transformation takes root. Together, we're proving that life's darkest moments don't define us. Victory is already ours. Until next time, stay empowered and remember, all things are possible.